So I'm going to give one quick commercial. So it looks like everybody who's on is a client in my practice, so I appreciate that. And the quick commercial is tomorrow night, I'm in the Auburn Hills area teaching a free introductory class, which is the way most of you come to me. So if you know somebody in the Auburn Hills area who would like to come, they can still register and come where I think we're at the community center, and it's all on our website. And then later in the month, I think the second Monday, so not this Monday but the next Monday, we have a free introductory class in our office. And so please, if you know somebody they'd like to register to come, we'd love to have them. And then I think most of you were on, but not everybody was on. If you look in the in your menu for GoToMeeting, you should see something like a green microphone or a green telephone. You can mute yourself if you would like to, and then you don't have to worry about the dog barking or telephone calls or anything like that. And if you want to ask a question, you can just unmute yourself and ask the question. That way, that gives you a little more control than if there's a lot of background noise and I have to mute it, then you can only write in the message box or something like that. And we'd prefer you to be able to unmute yourself and ask questions. So tonight, we have a wonderful writer, Don Rush. I'm going to let him introduce himself because he'll do a much better job than I do. I really appreciate that he's here tonight. We still have well, it looks like we just have one more person that's logging on right now. And I'm going to let him talk because I had somebody just call on my phone too, and they may be having trouble getting on GoToMeeting. So I'm going to mute myself and take care of that and let Don go. Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Lynette. All right, everybody. Good evening. And again, welcome tonight. I'd like to start off by saying you might hear some sniffles. Like a lot of people here in Michigan, I'm getting over a cold, so please forgive me. And again, if you have any questions, if you think I'm talking too fast, I'm a better writer than I am a talker. So go ahead and ask those questions, and I can repeat stuff. It's no big deal. I like to have a little fun, and writing in general is my passion, but tonight I thought we'd really concentrate on essay writing because many of you, if you're not yet in college or you're getting ready to go to college, will be asked to write essays, and a lot of them. So here we go. Jedi Essay Mind Tricks with me, Don Rush, your host. But you might say, who are you? Who am I? Don Rush, I've been a writer since basically the third grade. Whoop. Everything okay there?
Yep, hello.
All right, good. I started typing on an actual typewriter in the third grade. So I typed and wrote such a wonderful story as The Time Cave. I'm sure you guys all read that. Or The Werewolf Attacks. I'm sure you read that too. I think my mom did. For pretty much the last 30 years, I've been in the newspaper business. I run 4 community newspapers in Michigan: the Oxford Leader, Lake Rowan Review, Clarkston News, and the Citizen up in Nortonville, Michigan. I've penned a column now for about 28 years. It's called Don't Rush Me. It's received national awards and state awards from different associations. I've gotten awards for editorial writing, feature writing, blah, 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 blah. Last couple years, I've been a writing coach and an editor. I've edited 4 books for folks who are like self-publishing, and helped other high school and college kids in organizing their thoughts and getting their essays much better. And I do that as a coach, not as like a teacher or a tutor. And I like to say, as a writing coach, I could be real tougher. I can, if I see you're doing something wrong, I could do some push-ups. So here we go. The one thing I've learned in all these years about writing is you're writing for one particular person, and that's who's reading. So you're not writing for yourself. You're not trying to make yourself seem more intelligent than you are. You're simply communicating to that one person who was reading at that time. Tonight we're going to talk about essay writing, what it is not. We're going to go a little bit into while you're researching, not how you research, but while you're researching, what to do with your research. We'll go for outlining, and we'll go a little bit into writing your essays. And then also for fun, I interviewed 3 college admissions directors, counselors, whatever you want to call them, assistants. And I asked them some questions, and at the end of this presentation, I have their answers about what they like to see in college entrance essays and what they don't like to see. So I believe this will be left on the website for collegiate college advisors, and you can just go back and look at it over again. So at the end, we can open up to discussions. So, all right, essay writing. People usually think of writing as being linear. We go across the page from left to right, point A to point B. But really, there we go. Essay writing is like circular, dude. And what that means is a good essay has a beginning, a middle, and the end is the same thing as the beginning. Good examples of an essay or circular writing would be going to a newspaper and taking a look at the editorial section. Editorials are awesome circular writing. They might say like, Don Rush, he's the best, you should vote for him. And then they'll go to their supporting arguments. He is the coolest guy in class. And then they'll say, he's also wonderful with kids. And then at the end they'll say, and that's why, because he's the best, you should vote for him. That's kind of like an example of circular writing. I wouldn't say it's true. Here's a visual I just made up real quickly on the circle of essay writing. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. One of the things that I notice a lot of young writers, they'll have good ideas, but they write them in bullet form. They'll say, one idea, and here's the end. And they don't think about the reader. Remember, you're writing for your reader. So when you're going from one thing like Don Rush is the best chili maker this side of Texas, and then you do that supporting argument that says all that, you need a transition. Kids don't use transitions these days. I don't know why. Use a transition. Help your reader. Give them direction. Give them some heads up. Hey, we're going to be changing directions a little bit. You don't want to give your reader whiplash. So after you said how wonderful Don's chili is, you might say at the end of that paragraph, but wait, there's more. That's a very simple transition. Make sure you get in the habit of helping your reader move along. You might want to think about this when you're writing an essay. Pretend you're just taking your best little brother or sister by the hand and you're walking them through the path that you want them to take. You're leading them through your own conclusions, but you have to, guide them. Transitions will help you move them along from one idea to the next. And then at the end, you just kind of restate your beginning, your premise. I think they might be calling these things theses these days, but I like the word premise. Again, essay writing is not reporting. By the way, does anybody know who that guy there is? Probably not. I like to always bring up that guy right there, this guy here. His name is Darren McGavin, and he's an actor. In the 70s, he was Carl Kolchak, the Night Stalker. He was a TV show about this newspaper guy who would track down monsters. And that's why it got me started thinking about being a reporter a long time ago. So that's why I got him here. Anyway, essay writing is not reporting. A reporter, what I do most of the time, is I tell what happened in the order of events. Just the facts, only the facts. When you're doing an essay, many times you will be asked to draw conclusions. So just don't write down in your essay what happened. Your essay is not a book report, for example. He said this, and on down from the beginning to the end. You're going to be writing essays, and essay writing, as we've already said, is circular. All right. What to do with your research? You're going to be asked probably to pick one or two or three, or from one or two or three different topics to write about. So once you get doing this, you're going to be researching. I always want everybody to physically write things down with a pen or pencil, whatever you like, on a pad of paper. And jot down, as you're researching, things are going to pop into your head. You're going to get thoughts. You're going to have questions. And I want you to write those down on a pad of paper as you can, as they come up. And I want you to take notes. But I want you to get in the habit of using your hands and a pen and a pencil or a pencil, whatever your favorite is, and writing it down. It's a scientific fact. Science says and has demonstrated that people and students are people too, who write their notes physically on paper learn more. And I believe it's the act of reading something with your eyes, interpreting it into your brain, and then using your brain and your hand-eye coordination to write it down, and all the physical muscle movement in your fingers and all that kind of stuff. It just helps sear that information into your head. And actually, because you are more attuned with what you're writing, the act of writing your essay will be a lot easier. As you're going through copious websites and doing research, go ahead and cut and paste quotes that are important and citations to use for later on, but don't do everything at cut and paste way. Go old school, and you will impress your reader. A little more on research. As you read through all the websites, periodicals, and newspapers and all that kind of stuff, if you really want to impress somebody, if you really want to kick it up a notch, as Emeril Lagasse, this guy here, TV chef, would do when he would throw cayenne onto his dishes, you're going to be researching and you're going to hear that, Dr. Don Rush of Harvard University has come to this conclusion, and that might be part of your research. If you really want to impress somebody, contact the person who's being written about. People are, for the most part, feel wonderful when they're asked questions. If you make someone feel, like they're super smart or that they're helping you out, people want to help other people out. So don't feel bad or shy about someone. What do you think? I read this article about you, and you said your conclusions are here. How did you come up with that idea? And it's still the same. And take notes. Interview them. You will be a rock star in the essay writing annals if you do that. You can do it by email and all that kind of stuff. And also, think about it this way: if you're going on a educational path that you're writing on this essay, you're also making friends in the industry in your field already who are experts. So that will help you further on down the line too. So, you want to be a rock star? Kick it up a notch. All right. Let's be critical thinkers. All right, you've researched your brains out. Your hand, you're shaking it right now because you've taken so many notes. Holy moly. You have a lot of different things everywhere. Now's the time you need to take and look over all your notes and your questions. That's why you're writing them down as they happen. You're going to analyze the work that you've researched, others research. You might find that you agree with somebody or you don't agree with them. You ask yourself, is their work weak or lacking, or is it strong? And then why? This act of being a critical thinker is always asking questions, by the way. Now, do you have a stronger argument? And now, if you're going to go in this order here, pretty soon, in your head, you're already going to have an idea where you're going with your essay. It's jumbled up there in your head. And that's why I have the last little thing here on is to reflect on your on everything you've researched, everything you've looked at in your notes and your questions. You know, if you have time, I would say sleep on it, reflect on it. After you're starting to go through and analyze all your notes and stuff. Again, it's going to help. It's going to be in your brain, and once it's there, it's there. It'll help you write it down later. Don't procrastinate. You can do it. You can wait till the end and write everything down, and it might turn out okay, but you have a better shot of having a nice essay with strong arguments if you take your time and reflect on it. I found this little slide online. I think everybody in the world should think about it. Think critically, think red. Recognize assumptions, evaluate arguments, and draw conclusions. Those are your keys to critical thinking. Those are your keys, really, to any good essay writing. So, always think red. All right. Next, we're going to get into the outline. We're not even really writing yet.
Don.
It's all in our head, our notes and all that kind of stuff.
Don,
Yeah.
can I hang on just 1 second? Hey, Greg.
Yeah.
Could you mute yourself? Because I can tell from the audio here we're getting some feedback in your office, I think. So you should have like a green, let's see, a green microphone, and if you just click on that, it'll mute you, and then you can come back and unmute yourself anytime you'd like to talk, but that way we won't hear what else is going on in your office.
Okay, I'll try. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I thought I heard something there.
Yeah.
So, by the way, if anybody does have questions, unmute and ask as we're going through it, or you can wait till the end. There we go. So, think critically. Next, we're going to go into outlining. Outlines help you color the insides of your essay. And like I said, just like every Jedi must make his or her own lightsaber, so too shall you draw on your own conclusions to write your own essay, no plagiarisms, one that will shine brightly and slice through the clutter of all other essays. You want your professor or who's admissions counselor, whoever, to say, wow, I am just amazed at this essay, this person. I want him in my college, or I want them to have a great grade. All right, so we're going to go back to your premise. Now, we're working on our outline now. So you're going to write on a piece of paper, we're going to write down what your strongest point is. What is your best idea from all your research? What do you think? What kind of conclusions do you want to be drawn? This is what your essay is going to be built around, and from where your essay really begins. When you're doing your outline, next part for supporting arguments, here you're mapping out the body of your essay and how it's going to read. And really this is kind of like bullet pointing. I would write per argument, I would write one sentence. John Rush is great. And then I would bullet point underneath that supporting information. And then you go through each of your arguments, your supporting arguments the same way. Once you've written out all your salient information in the bullet point form, and you have your premise, which means you have your ending, basically, I always say, step back and play with it. And what that means is, are your points or your arguments in the best order? Move them around, see what makes the best sense, and what would lend itself for the easiest transitions and the flow. Again, you're writing your essay for a reader, and you want to help the reader move through all your points. You want them to start at the beginning, and you want to knock their socks off with the best opening paragraph that anybody's ever read, and you want to continue that all the way through back to the end. So at this point, when we're outlining, we are just kind of like playing around with it. We're seeing what is going to be the best order of our arguments. Next. Right, baby. All right. From your premise comes your introduction. And like I said, you want your premise, your opening, your introduction to be, grab the reader's attention. Be bold. Don't be timid when you're writing this, the introduction. This is this is really important that you be strong. It's your conclusion. You've gone through, you've researched, you have ideas, and you want someone to think of one. Your premise and your ending, your conclusion, are going to tell people what to think, basically, what to do. So make those strong. All right. Each paragraph, remember, will lead to the next in a logical order. That's how we were playing around in our outline days, with moving all our arguments around. And again, each paragraph ends with a transition to the next, right? You don't want to give your reader, again, whiplash from going one way to the next. It's not like a roller coaster that turns 90 degrees left or right. You want this to be a smooth ride, a smooth read for the people who are looking at and digesting what you've written. Each paragraph will take the reader further down the road to the conclusion you made at their journey's beginning. Again, there's a whole concept of circular writing. And at the end, of course, you wrap it up, you tell the reader what to think or do, and end by rewriting the introduction. After all this, I have proven to you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Don Rush is the best candidate, and you should vote for him. And there's a, nice wrap up. You tied it with the bow. You've given them all the information that they need to make your same conclusion. So there's that part. What's next? The end is near, or how you'll see light at the end of the tunnel. All right, this is very critical, and I'll tell you why at the end. Once you type your paper up, obviously you're going to spell check it, and you're going to check for grammar on the screen. And one of the things that I always tell any young writer is try to delete as many thes and that's as you can. Those are just words that pad. If you read something many times, if you just take out the word that or the, your sentence will flow a little easier, and you don't need extra words. You write minimalist style. All right? Then you print it, and you read it again. You make corrections, and you reprint it. And then I always recommend this. Read it aloud. It's the same thing about writing and doing all those things, of letting information go in your eyes, into your brain, and out your fingers. Same idea here is let your ears hear what you have written. Once you say something and you hear it, if it doesn't sound right to you, it probably doesn't make sense. It probably needs to be rewritten. So it's just a good way to do it. Once everything is groovy, it makes sense, you think you've gotten everything corrected, print it off and give it to someone else to read. Even the most experienced writers, the best writers, can never ever proofread their own stuff fully. Your brain knows what you want to say, what you're supposed to say. Your brain will add in words and punctuation that are not actually on the paper. So that's why it's really important to let someone else proofread things. Always. That's why I wrote it right here in blue, bold italics. Always have someone else read your stuff. And at the end, of course, you always have to cite your sources as your instructor instructs. That pretty much is the basic procedure. in writing an awesome essay. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far before we continue on? Hearing none, I shall delve forward. Now we're going to go into the part I talked about at the beginning where I actually interview actual people who make money as a living for college entrance or admittance. They read the essays, so let's go on to that.
Don, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm assuming because, and maybe this isn't true, but I'm assuming because of this presentation and doing the research, it encouraged you to reach out and talk to these people, yes? Or you did it before this?
Yes.
Okay, and so here's the interesting thing, okay, because you're a reporter, and so I think this is just second nature to you, but will you just tell us the process you went through to identify who you decided to talk to and kind of how you got to that point that you actually got to talk to them? Because this is really important. I mean, for students, let's say a student isn't going to be a reporter, but a lot of students are going to do job shadowing, and they're going to have to reach out to people they don't know. And so it's just good to hear how you did it, if you don't mind telling that before you tell us what they told you.
Not at all. Again, you're right, Lynette. As a reporter, you know, almost 30 years now in the business, it's real easy for me to call up anybody that I don't know and ask questions. It wasn't so easy when I was in college learning to be a reporter. And one of the things, again, like I said, people actually want to help other people. So first off, you can be shy about asking questions, but realize people are going to be delighted really to help you. They want to help. And, you know, it'll make them feel better if you ask them questions so they can help you. So what did I do? Well, since, you know, I'm in Michigan here, like many of you, I wanted to reach out to 3 universities. I wanted to get a nice thing. So I went to one of the biggest ones, U of M. Then I went to a really local one, hyper-local, Oakland University. And then I went to my alma mater, Central. I went to their websites. I looked up, you know, college, you know, admissions. And I started going through their staff. It's online. And then once I found the director of college admissions, I would ask that person. I would send an email first, and then I would say at the end of the email, here's what I'm doing, by the way. I'm a reporter. I'm going to be doing a webinar, and then I'm going to write an article about college admission essays. How could, you know, I like to ask somebody on your staff 3 or 4 questions and present this information for kids coming into college. At the end of my email, I'd say I'm going to follow up this email with a phone call tomorrow. Again, all that information, their email and their phone, is online. I thanked them in advance, saying thank you very much. I think, you know, many kids will get some positive feedback out of this. And then I just I went to the directors, and they gave me people. They answered back to my emails. Okay, talk to this person or talk to that person on my staff. They will help you out. So that's how I did it. Does that answer your question, Lynette?
Yes, it did. And something very important, and I talk to students about this too, when they're trying to reach somebody. You said, I will call tomorrow, giving yourself permission to call. And I often tell my students to do the same thing. Tell them when you will follow up, and then follow up right like you said, because they're expecting it, and they appreciate that you follow through.
It's important. Do what you say what you do.
Right. Great.
All right. Let's move on to what the, all right. One of the questions I asked was, what's the best advice for students when they write their admission essays? So one of the answers was, have an idea of what you hope to convey prior to writing the essay. Then focus on a few key areas that will assist you in addressing this. Finding some focus on a topic or a few key points is usually better than trying to cover numerous events or experiences. In short, tell your story in your voice is a solid approach. Many times people want to add too much information. There's an old saying that less is more. I would go with that. And again, Lynette, this is going to be online, so I don't have to read all of these, but they'll be up here. They all make sense. What sets one essay apart from the pack? What makes, this person said, what makes one more positive than the others is when the student is themselves. They are able to write about unique stories that pertain to them, like playing soccer with children in Columbia, eating at a Michigan Pop-Tart, or dressing up as a volcano for Halloween. Another person said, craft a message that comes from the place of honesty and passion. Students take the right kind of risk with their essays and allow the admission staff to get glimpses of their lives, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. People are attracted to authenticity. Don't be fake. Be who you are, and I think what they all said somewhere or other was be honest and have some passion. So usually you'll get like 1 or 2 or 3 different things that to write about. Pick the one that's best, suited for you, and go for it. What's next? What's next? I don't know. What are the most common mistakes? Uh-oh. Not carefully proofreading the essay. Huh? We talked about that. They always say here, an essay that is otherwise solid in content can be offset by careless errors that would have been caught by proofreading, or better yet, having a trusted teacher or counselor like Lynette or somebody at collegiate college advisors proofread your stuff. All right? Again, it's important to let someone else read it. Let me see. Another ultra-common mistake is when students are applying. Oh, yeah. This makes sense, but it happens if you're applying to a lot of colleges. You're sending a college to, say, Oakland University, and then you say, you're happy, you're looking forward to be a Spartan. Make sure that you're attending the right university you're writing to at the time. Little thing, but oops. Let me see. College entrance essays. Is there a simple process students and parents should complete before writing their essays? Critical for students to write their own essays. Yes, it is. Mom and dads don't write. Parents are not applying to the college. Here's a key point here is since admission professionals are also view the students' transcripts and writing ACT, SAT scores, they will most likely notice any discrepancies. So be honest, write your own stuff. And then, of course, down here, in addition, they should have a strong working knowledge of the university they're applying to. So there you go. I think we've used up pretty much much of our half an hour. You guys are on your way to becoming a Jedi essay masters, and I welcome you to the force. So if you have any questions, talk to Lynette. As I said before, it's going to be up here. You can access it. Oh boy, last it to the end. Now I'm going to cough. If you have any questions, you can email me. Here's my email address. I have also written an essay about doing this, writing essays. So if you want, if you contact me by email, I will send you a copy of my essay on writing essays, and it goes into more depth than what I've done here tonight. Lynette, or anybody else there, questions?
And any questions?
No, but thank you very much.
Great, Don. I thought you did an excellent job of really recapping things that I think most of the students have heard from probably English teachers. And you did it in a really amazing way. Remember what you said, sometimes less is more. I don't think there's anybody on the webinar who doesn't appreciate that you didn't take your whole hour. And remember, please, that it's going to be posted in the client portion of our website. And actually, I think there's even on the regular portion of our website, I think this gets posted also. And so if you have a paper to write, Go back and watch it. It was 35 minutes, and you could cut out the beginning and the end. And he had really good points. And one last thing. I have never, ever attended a conference with college admissions representatives who talked about essay writing for college applications that one of them did not mention, make sure you get the name of the school correct. It happens all the time. And will they overlook it? They will, but they won't be happy about it. It's equivalent to wearing a different school's t-shirt on a college visit. You wouldn't do it, so just be really careful about it. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to stay on, but if nobody has any questions, everybody have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lynette. This was great.
Great.